last 3 years, we've been able to build a product that there's nothing else like it in the industry worldwide.
You guys are the key to our entire project right now. This is the first time where we have more contracts than we could possibly even put out machines.
In our space, we get to be definitively different. You can't compare us to our competitors, and that would not be possible without this program.
Every one of the technical challenges that we had, TSL was able to overcome.
No one wants to be living in data files and Excel files all day long. So now our team gets to focus on the really strategic initiatives that they're very, very good at.
Instead of going there, flying up there, doing a service ticket, like connecting, reprogramming, now all of this you can do from your fingertips, sitting right here from an iPad.
Some of those processes before, when your team had already some level of automation, took them still 90 minutes. That's now done in minutes, seconds.
Working with TSL has been nothing less than stellar. They're great communicators, do a great job, make suggestions, deliver.
Really do appreciate the time and effort and commitment that the devs have made.
It's great to work with people who have the same values and beliefs and ambitions.
Anytime somebody wants to choose a supplier, they should look at reputation, they should look at integrity, and they should look at quality. And TSL has proven to me that you achieve those three attributes.
Having a team that could be there for the longevity is really key.
They really knew and understood our business and asked a lot of questions to get to the root of what we were trying to solve. It actually came out better than we thought because of those questions that they asked.
An excellent experience.
It's been just insane.
It honestly exceeded our expectations in every way.
We were talking just outside. I think, what, how many new models and updates have come out in the last month? You have GPT 4.5 thinking, or 5.4 thinking. You have Opus 4.6, all of the Claude Code iterations. Holy cow. It's been a crazy year for the world of AI. Let me do my quick inaugural question. Who's an AI Uncorked veteran? Who's coming back? Awesome. Thank you guys for being here. And who's brand new to AI Uncorked? Thank you guys for coming out. You guys are joining us on the first time. We, as you guys know, we do this in person. We also broadcast live to LinkedIn. This is our first simulcast also to YouTube. So everybody turn around and say hi, YouTube. There we go. We have an awesome presentation teed up for you guys today. One of the things that we got asked a lot at the end of last year was about the solopreneur and small business journey with AI kind of at the core of the building experience of an organization. And we heard and we listened, and we are bringing to you a phenomenal individual. His name is Alex. He's the CEO and founder. Do I have him up here? No, not yet. Of SuperRecruiter. And it is a company built with AI at its core. He's got an incredible journey that he's going to be sharing with you guys today. As you go through, if you throw your hand up and you have a question, I've got a mic for our online audience. So just hold that hand up high until I run over and hand you the mic so that they can hear any questions. And without further ado, please give a warm hand as we welcome Alex to the stage.
There you go. You got the clicker right there.
Hey, everyone.
You're good right there.
Clap one time if you can hear me. Clap 2 times if you can hear me. I always wanted to do that. Mark, you gave me the ropes to do that.
Yep, you got it.
All right, let me just pull this up here. 2 seconds. Do we have this plugged in, non-connected? That doesn't look like it. Maybe we can work on that.
Oh, we have to ask AI.
Oh, you're right. What are we doing here?
You just ask if it's connected.
Yeah, we're good. We might need to clap 3 times.
It's okay, guys. It's not like we're a tech company.
Is everyone from around here mostly? Anybody traveling far away, which includes Miami? Fort Lauderdale? I'm coming from Fort Lauderdale. What part?
Like the Sunrise area.
Beautiful area, yeah. Right over in Victoria Park, so not too far away. Okay. Yeah. What about yourself in Maroon? Miami area? What part?
Miami Lakes.
Oh, man, I appreciate you making your way. You know, there is a lot.
Go from Miami to Boca Raton in the rain.
Hey.
At rush hour. Man, you are hungry for some AI.
I was going to say, there is a live stream, but I am happy to see each and every one of you here. What about yourself? Doral. Thank you for coming up. Appreciate it.
There you go.
I know it's a little bit rainy here.
So how many tech guys does it take?
You have to say that how many software guys does it need, right?
Third level support.
Fix hardware.
Well, I don't know where the whole team went because.
They're behind the trees. You just have to.
All right. Can everybody see that back there?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, like Mark just introduced me, I am the CEO and founder of SuperRecruiter. It is a pleasure to meet each and every one of you today and talk about artificial intelligence. As I was putting together this presentation, I realized that this is a little bit of a roast on myself. The reality is that I want to educate each and every one of you on mistakes that I have made so that you don't have to make them. I myself am not a technical engineer, CS degree. I am a business-minded individual that had an idea through artificial intelligence and has grown a 7-figure business using it at the core of my business, which most of us know about recruiting is a little bit more commoditized. So if I can do it, I know you all can do it. First and foremost, I did not start with a plan. Most people start with a plan. I did not. I guess I enjoy learning the hard way. But what I started out was really identifying the pain. I wanted to understand how AI could really reduce the amount of pain and burden and time that gets put inside of my day each and every moment so that I could free up more time talking with my customers. In reality, this whole story is just about a non-technical founder trying to keep their head above water. For most folks who have worked in startups, you know that you have limited time, you have limited resources, you have limited money, and quite honestly, most of the times you're battling teams 5 to 50 times the size of you. Sounds like a pretty uphill battle, right? And the good news is that AI is going to start to reduce some of that burden for yourself. When I had the aha moment was really a couple years ago, just like most of you who really worked with AI in ChatGPT for the first time. I was mesmerized, right? I always enjoyed, the idea of being an engineer. I was always in recruiting, placing engineers, but I did not really understand how to create applications myself. And so one night I played with ChatGPT and I was absolutely blown away. From that moment, I got my prompt engineering degree from Vanderbilt University to learn not just prompt engineering, but how to scale personalization at large, which is my background, which is more of the digital marketing world. I've sold a company that did a lot of PPC, SEO, web dev, outreach, cold email, deliverability, all those kinds of good things. So when I learned about artificial intelligence, it kind of was an eye-opening experience where I started to realize that I didn't have to be technical to deliver a lot of these technical solutions. Pairing that with automation, which I think it's very important for us to understand, AI and automation are two very different things, my mind started to explode, right? One system can do something very well, another system can do something else very well. How do I combine those and how do I make if-then statements? Which is just simply saying, hey, if something happens, then this needs to happen. And that's where my mind started to expand about actual automated processes. As I mentioned, I am not a developer. I do not try to be a developer. I am a business-minded person. At first look, AI looked complicated, just like any level of engineering did. It kind of scared me, to be honest with you. But after working with AI for a bit, it really started to reveal itself that I didn't have to be technical. I had to have a clear problem that I'm looking to solve and have a clear way of thinking about it and be able to give logical instructions to a machine. But again, I did not have any technical ability. But as I said first, we started with the pain. At SuperRecruiter, we are a recruiting solutions firm, which means that we deliver recruiting solution automation, top of funnel candidate selection, or end-to-end recruitment services. Take your flavor. The pain that we started with as an organization really had everything to do with sourcing candidates, writing outreach, scheduling candidates for interviews, and qualifying resumes. And I know that these 4 categories are totally irrelevant to probably 99% of our businesses that we run on a day-to-day. But the reason why this is so important in my mind is that it really just takes taking the time to identify what is those areas, those problem spots that you want to solve, right? That is different from each and every one of us. That could be reporting, that could be lead generation, that could be a laundry list of many, many things. But for me, these 4 tasks were taking up 60% of my time and my team's time. So let's start to get into mistakes, which my first mistake was really expecting AI to solve all of my problems. It was this magical wave my magic wand and something's going to appear. And to be quite honest, it just didn't really work like that. And I can't speak to the future with technological advancements like AGI and things like that. But where we are today, a huge lesson that I learned was that you have to have guardrails and limit the structure overall of what you are looking to achieve with artificial intelligence. Not only is this going to reduce your cost because you're not asking the AI to do a bunch of stuff for you, but it's also going to improve your outputs because you've been much more defined on what those outputs look like that you actually want to have. Mistake number 2 was not having a singular source of information, and this was really the root of all evil for us. We had about 7 different systems that were dispersed around marketing, outreach, data enrichment, you name it. And it was super difficult for the automation to pick out which system to pull that information from, right? And and if I was a software engineer or graduated with a CS degree, maybe this would be second nature, but to me it wasn't, right? I didn't think of the initial source of truth, and that spent a lot of time and money trying to recorrect that wrong. So this is my second mistake that I made in really not looking at it more holistically to make the job easier of the technology. Number 3 is something that I'm sure each founder or entrepreneur or business owner has gone through. I am no different. I have spent so much bloody money, wasted. I'm talking thrown in the fireplace and just burned down, flushed down the toilet, you name it. And my number 1 piece of advice is really just to come back and define the problem that you're looking to solve. AI bills can rack up very, very quickly with API pulls, tokenizations, depending on which models you're using, you name it. But if you start to chase those shiny objects like I did, you're going to start to tread water and actually not get anywhere productive, in my opinion. Number 4 was no guardrails. AI without structure is unpredictable. The more that you ask AI to think about and produce outputs on their own, the more risk you take as an individual that those outputs are incorrect. One of the most fundamental differences between AI and automation is the fact that automation is a one-to-one mirror of that data moving from system to system. AI depends on certain variants. It's trying to get it as close as possible, which is more of a mathematical equation, which is not the same as automation where you're talking one-to-one of mirroring each other. So for myself, putting up guardrails of what to say, what not to say, how to say it, was super important to the business because without it, we were simply just running rogue. Now, enough of the mistakes. There is a brighter side of this story, and that is about the solutions. If you recall, one of the big pains that we tried to solve was finding new candidates. And if you've sat in a recruiter seat, you know that on average, it takes about 5 to 20 hours to find new candidates for any position that you are actively working on. Today, we do all of our sourcing with large language models, which allows us to find candidates at a fraction of the time. We can find candidates that are super high quality, better than any human candidate, any staffing firm in South Florida, in 10 minutes and put together a list of 200 candidates faster and better than anybody can. Problem number 1 was solved with LLM sourcing. Solution number 2 was saving time looking at candidate resumes. Once you source your candidates, it's important to understand that not every candidate that you source is a slam dunk for the role that you are in fact recruiting for. And I understand, again, these are solutions we've created, but my hope is that you'll take pieces of information that you can move into your business and really push your business forward. So this problem was all about saving time and understanding what candidates' actual backgrounds were all about. And most applicant tracking systems in today's world, probably about 90% of which, focus on that dreadful word, keyword matching. And what we wanted to focus on was level 2 analytics, such as how long are employee tenures? What was the work experience that they had prior to entering this new recruiting opportunity to see if there is a match with company experience so that they can shorten their learning curve. These types of parameters and signals that we put inside of our stack ranking system allowed us to really focus on candidates that were an ideal fit for our clients in tandem of the LLM sourcing that was happening. Solution number 3, after we've sourced the candidates, after we've ranked the candidates, the next question becomes is how do we reach the candidates? And the way that we have done that is by leveraging AI for personalization messaging, which is a combination of email delivery. We believe in a multi-channel outreach because everybody is different. So text, email, LinkedIn, we approach all candidates differently on different platforms. And today, each and every campaign that we run has about a 25 to 35% candidate conversion rate and a 60 to 90% open rate, which to give anybody ideas, that's about a 5 to 10 times national average. Yes, sir.
How do you determine how to contact certain candidates, whether it be LinkedIn or text or email or whatever it may be, because everybody has their source?
Fantastic question. So there is no crystal ball to that because every person is different. You may love LinkedIn, you may hate LinkedIn. You may love LinkedIn, I may hate LinkedIn, right? So the reason why we use a multi-channel approach is to find candidates where they exist, right? Go to them where they exist, and the data will tell you that each and every candidate is different. But if we removed one of those mediums, results wouldn't be as good as they are. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Fantastic.
Is this across like a certain industry or like?
Great question. Great question. So these specifically right here are not in any singular industry. The way that we have built our platform in artificial intelligence is that we are agnostic to any role that you give us, meaning we can work marketing, sales, IT, finance, HR, any of that. And the way that we typically work is by bolting on to internal HR teams and helping them find candidates that are not actively scrolling the job boards, right? So the 78% of the market that are currently employed, not looking at Indeed, Dice, Monster, et cetera, that's really where we hang our hat. So does that answer?
Yeah, I was just curious, like if other like organizations outside of what you said were like using it, like healthcare. And
Totally.
Like that.
Yeah, no, and to be honest with you, we haven't worked with any healthcare companies yet. No reason it shouldn't work, though, because we're all people, phone, call, text, email. There's kind of only so many ways that we can reach someone, but regarding the healthcare medical vertical, don't touch that as much, but no reason it shouldn't be able to work.
Okay, yeah. Just curious because the open rate sounds great. So I know a lot of like healthcare professionals are not opening as many messages on LinkedIn because they get so many. So I was just curious.
Totally. These right here are also via email, these screenshots that I sent out right here. A lot of what you'll hear in AI is it's this magic wand, right? I tend to believe it's a magic wand to an extent where a lot of our success comes from A/B testing. We've tracked and measured over 1.5 million messages over the course of 2.5 years. So we know things like what time of day messages should be sent, what subject lines emails should be to drive open rates, what call to action should be to drive candidate conversions. So all of that information is stuff that we've tracked and analyzed and A/B tested just to make sure that we're always continuously improving. And one thing we've recognized is not every client's different. Not every client's the same. And I think it's a superpower, super recruiter, that we see what works with other companies, but every opportunity we have to earn a client's trust, I am very upfront and honest in saying, hey, today's the worst we're ever going to be. We're only going to get better because over time, data is only going to show us the way. Awesome. Any other questions? Yeah, please.
How did you decide to focus on the niche of people who are currently employed versus people who are looking for work?
Yeah, great question. So the reason why we decided to do that was because job boards really answer the problem of finding candidates who are actively looking for positions, whereas our true secret power, our value add, is by targeting, finding, and converting candidates who are not active on job boards, right? Which is much more of a headhunter type of game, right? Where you may be happy in your position, employment, but can I convince you enough to just talk to me about this other role, right? And that I kind of bring back. I'm a big sport. Anybody a sports guy? Not too many? I kind of. Anybody a sports guy? Or girl? All right, I like that. All right, cool. So I compare it a lot to like sports and recruiting, right? If you don't go out into the market and if you don't take those at-home visits and you don't meet the players' parents and all of these things, are you putting yourself in the best place to win that recruit? Probably not, right? And if we wait to see who comes to us, chances are we're not going to win those 5 4-star recruits because other people are doing it, and we're going to land up with whatever's left. And a lot of the businesses that we help, they want the best of the best, right? They understand human capital is important to their business and push forward, and they want that 78% of candidates who are not active on the job boards because they are actively working. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Fantastic.
Getting back to the AI experience, how long did it take you to build your initial version? Where did you bring someone else who had a tech computer background? How did that process? Can you explain that process?
I'm smiling because the idea came in a bullpen in a recruiting agency off of Cypress Creek, not too far from here. And every single day I walked into this agency and I saw every single person doing the same exact thing. And it drove me crazy because we weren't tracking anything.
I get the problem. Mm-hmm. How did you actually do the AI?
Totally. So the way that I did the AI was I thought of one small problem. My first problem was analyzing resumes. I needed to figure out a way to do that at scale. Then I learned a platform called Clay. Does anyone know Clay? Fantastic. It's Google Sheets, Excel on steroids. It's data enrichment, data aggregator, all of those good things, right? As soon as I figured out how to understand a resume and enrich a resume using information that would take me 10, 15 minutes to actually uncover, then I started to think hey, what was my next step, right? And then that's when I started combining automation. But each one of those steps required a different model because each one of those steps, each model is a little different for what type of solution you're looking for, right? So for example, we use ChatGPT for any discovery or research capabilities today. We use Claude for any writing. Anything to do with outreach, anything to do with personalization, we've switched over to Claude. So that was really how I started getting going, is just by picking off those pain points and figuring out how can we combine these systems to make a fluid workflow, right?
You didn't say, I want to do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, come up with a solution for it on the tech side?
No, not at this point. Not at this point. And this was about 2.5 years ago. So technology wasn't where it is today, right? But as I chipped away, I came back to those 4 points of what are the pains in my day-to-day that are taking the most time, that are pulling, honestly, revenue generating activities for myself, and how can I allocate that time? And I did, though, on your last question, have a little bit of a secret weapon of when did you move into the technology, which I'll kind of get to in a second. My wife is a solution architect for modernizing medicine, so I had a little bit of help. Any other questions before continuing, please? Oh, sorry.
So you did mention you started 2.5 years ago. The tools, the technology wasn't quite there.
Correct.
Well, it is now.
You're
right?
absolutely right.
So how does that impact now? Now, what we have today, did that impact what you're doing now? Are you redoing certain things, or are you rethinking some of the flaws?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a great question. Let me unpack that. So I can tell, and great, vests right there too. So the question was, I know the technology has evolved over the 2.5 years, but how are you looking to continuously evolve the technology today versus what you've already created? Is that fair?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So great example of that is, if I can just flip back. Oop. Can I go back? Great. So this is a great example of this. Today, we use LLMs such as Google X-Ray using Claude to find our candidates. This is a real image of how finding candidates looks like today. It looks a little different than LinkedIn, right? The way that we are leveraging technology today that goes along with all of the mistakes that I have already learned is by one platform called OpenClaw. Has anybody heard of OpenClaw? Fantastic. If you've been on the internet, chances are you've heard of OpenClaw. OpenClaw is a platform that is really an agnostic browser agent, right? So the way that we are using OpenClaw is that no longer is that human being sitting at their keyboard finding those candidates, right? The way that we are going to be using AI within 30 days is by any job that's submitted, OpenClaw is going to automatically start sourcing candidates without any human in the loop. And that is a way that we are always going to be continuously improving our recruiting results. Now, the one thing I've learned with OpenClaw is to come back to a mistake of you have to add guardrails. If you let OpenClaw or any of these agents just start to run autonomously through your systems, we all hear of the concern of like, oh, they're going to steal your information, right? But they're also going to do a damage to your bank account, because that is a lot of money and token costs that that system is running, because OpenClaw on its own doesn't really do anything. You plug it into an LLM, it connects, and then that's the brain that kickstarts its actual activities. So that is an example of how we've learned from a mistake of not adding guardrails to improving it into using large language models to find 1,000 candidates in about an hour or 30 minutes, into the next iteration, which is using OpenClaw to reduce that time probably by another third and take away all the human activity in itself. Yeah, of course. Please, sorry about that.
Yeah, so I have a question about how accurate your search capabilities are. So I'm actually a headhunter, so I've spent 20 years working in retained search, working mainly in C-suite recruiting.
Amazing. Across
industries. So, and LinkedIn Recruiter have got some AI functionality right now, but I still have to kind of manually do the ultimate sourcing, because if a client comes to me and says, we're looking for somebody who scaled up a PE operation from 100 million to 600 million, whatever those details are, that stuff is usually not even on the resume, definitely not on the LinkedIn profile. So
Correct.
how are you, how intelligent is your sourcing? Can you actually kind of do that level of go into that company website, figure out, okay, PE back, their revenues went from 100 million to 800 million over 4 years, and this person was here. Can you do that level of detail, or is that?
Yeah, the answer is actually yes today. We should talk afterwards.
Okay.
Have you used Clay at all?
No, I haven't.
We should talk about Clay, because Clay is going to give you insights to candidates that you can't find with your 2 eyes. So let's talk about that afterwards, because I can even send you a couple workflows that you may want to take a look at. And our fourth solution in this deck is going to also answer some of those questions that you may be talking about of like, hey, what is your salary?
range that you're looking for, right? Because on LinkedIn, I don't know what your salary is, right? So that may be a limitation that maybe we'll touch on in a few minutes if we're lucky, but you know, that is a big secret advantage of using Clay. So let's talk after that, and I have some cool little gadgets and gadgets for you. Yeah, sir.
How do you protect your IP?
That's a great question. So like I said, my wife is a solution architect, so she has taken care of all of our gateway, terminal, security access, vulnerabilities. Everything that we do right now is hosted in Azure too, so it's being collected inside of a singular source of truth, which we're getting a little bit ahead, but we've rectified that wrong so that we can reduce the amount of vulnerabilities inside of our AI system. And we've also added a lot of guardrails of, again, gonna get into it in a second, but also our chatbot and like allowing certain messages to be sent versus not to be sent, right? Because we also don't want private information getting out to folks who are conning the system.
I guess what I'm asking is, you know, you're articulating your feature function benefit in a room like this. How do you protect yourself? I can go home and replicate this.
Yeah.
And compete with you.
Absolutely. I don't expect anybody. I don't expect anything that I'm going to talk about today to be something that you can't replicate on your own, to be quite honest with you. And in fact, if you look back at my LinkedIn or anything like that, you'll see that I give it all away for free. So I'm not trying to hide anything.
I'm not saying suggesting that. I'm just, you know, for people in the audience, it's like you come up with an idea, you know, what in AI helps an entrepreneur, a out-of-the-box thinker, think of a solution, leverage AI, come up with a solution, and protect it?
Same question as technology IP protection too. You know, you can build product many different ways. You can only patent a way to reach an output. You can't patent the output. So we have our framework and technology stack that we'll again get into.
Do you have any patents?
No patents yet. No patents yet. But like I mentioned, it seems like you're very well understanding that there are different ways to still reach an output with different mediums of getting there.
Is your concept patentable?
I don't think so. No. Don't think that this is patentable. No. No.
Grab coffee later?
No, one thing, and I hope every one of you, connect with me on LinkedIn. You'll see that I give away this stuff every single day. So I give away Claude projects, codes, workflows, prompts, everything like that. I'm a true believer that if you can be given the tools to build the castle, but you still got to build the castle. And I really believe that if I can help out the community around me, I'm a big karma guy, and that stuff's going to come back to me. So if there's any value that folks can get from my free content, please take as much as you want of it. Good to continue here? All right. I like that. It was like a little intermission. I like it. Sorry. Awesome. Cool. So this is my favorite right here. So I'm sorry. We last left off at our outreach system, right? Which is a lot of like thinking of it like lead generation, right? We're using a signal. We're finding our decision maker, which in our case is our candidate, and we're reaching out to them with A/B tested messaging that we know is effective to convert them to talk to us on the phone. Now, once all of that is done, right, we've now established that we use email, phone, text, and LinkedIn, multi-channel, 4 different vehicles, right? What happens if a candidate replies? Who answers that? I was answering that. My team was answering that. 8 of us were answering that. But what we created was an AI chatbot. And that was really kind of where we just touched on of what to say, what not to say. Hey, if you're asked certain things, what kind of security protocols do you have in place to not respond and give away, private information, right? This chatbot and a screen here on the right is a screenshot of what chats look like. And the coolest part about this is that we have our chat agent talking to candidates 24/7. They are not waiting on us to reply to their text, to their email. we are having a chatbot reply to them in less than 5 minutes, which is super powerful because if you've been in marketing, you know the faster that time of response you can create, the higher likelihood that they are going to reply back to you. This chatbot works autonomously, like I mentioned, 24/7. And as you can see here, the confidence on this score, oh, I don't know what this UBS is, but USB is, but as you can see, this 90% confidence score pops up every single time the AI is 90% or less confident in their response to the candidate. Therefore, if it was 91% or higher in their response, it wouldn't even ask us this question. And as you can see here on the top green, it says approve and send. You can see in the red, it says reject, or you can see on the top middle, it says edit response. That allows human in the loop to always be involved. And if there is a question that the system is not sure about, it is not going to respond and be inaccurate. One yawn, cool. All right, yeah.
So, you know, I'm thinking through this.
Yeah.
And there's a candidate that's applying, you know, she, they think it's a good opportunity, and they may start to divulge information that maybe they shouldn't be. Is your AI bot able to detect information that's coming across that may be privileged, and kind of like say, wait a minute, that's a red flag?
What would be an
if you're doing it,
example of that?
Let's say I work for Citrix,
Cool.
and I'm looking to get a job doing VM or VDI somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I start talking about, here's what I do in my role, and I start to maybe explain some things that are not public information. Well, that's a red flag. You want to make sure that that candidate is like, hey, you know, signaled out and said that this may be, you know, a problem candidate, because with us, he's already giving us information he shouldn't be giving us, type thing. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense. In my 10 years in recruitment, I've never had that situation, to be honest. It's a really good, like, hey, what if? That is like a really good guardrail to potentially add in, which I appreciate that point. I've never personally seen a candidate, even manually in my entire career, kind of get into more of those nuances. That's stuff that people really don't like to say, or let alone put in writing. You know, it's more for actual conversation, which after this part, once it's agreed to, hey, this is the salary that we're looking for, you are in the location that we're talking about, you are interested in the role that we approached you about, that's when it actually moves into actually scheduling a real recruiter to talk to them on the phone to validate all of this is true, right? Because that's super important. If we just let this go and didn't talk to a candidate, it's a really hot topic inside of recruiting right now, is like, how much control do you want, and can it be end to end? Like, you've heard this, right? And the truth of it is that in my opinion, you have to have that human layer in there. Not only to really check that what this person is saying, and are they a real candidate, because deepfakes and fraud and all of those things start to actually, you know, come in very, very much today. But you also have to think about it from your client's perspective, where if that candidate is very talented and they have 2, 3, 4 different offers on the table, pretty sure you want a human who's built a relationship with that individual on the phone with them, convincing them that your opportunity is the opportunity that they should take, versus maybe 2 of the other opportunities having AIs communicating with them and losing that sense of humanistic touch. Please.
And let me just
Yeah.
In my 20 years of recruiting experience, that happens when you get to the in-person interview. Candidates will tell you everything. That's like you sleeping through the company, you know, stuff that you'll hear it all.
Well, I get it. And I I guess that's where, you know, maybe I wasn't clear on when the chatbot stopped or when the human intervention started.
Totally.
Right, in that process.
Yeah.
Can I just add also, what if a candidate says something that's controversial? Let's say he makes like a racial comment or a sexist comment. Like if they do that, because I've had candidates do stuff like that.
Yep.
On the
It's an immediate red flag in our system. Yeah. No sexist, no prejudice, no racism, no anything like that. Fortunately, we haven't encountered any of that, very fortunately, but that has been built in from prior experiences.
Yeah, because
so
I had a
absolutely
candidate make a joke about being gay, and the hiring manager was gay. I'm like, come on, dude.
You can't say that, yeah. Well, it's 2026. You should know better, right?
This was 2024.
Oh, well, still.
Thank you. I know. First, thank you for the presentation. I'm very excited. I'm a recruiter as well.
Fantastic.
So is Savannah.
Which firms?
I'm with MSH.
No, over in Davie, right?
In
Plantation?
Broward Boulevard.
Yeah.
And Savannah?
I'm at All Star Healthcare.
All right, very cool. Good to meet you too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know what the candidate experience has been using the AI chatbot first, and then finally getting to the human recruiter.
Totally. So the truth of it is, I think the experience is 10 times better, to be honest with you. I've sat in a large agency and I've watched folks slam on their keyboard and not really use English, you know, and the truth of the matter is the communication that you have with your candidate is your brand. So in my opinion, a lot of the writing that we've implemented inside of here is used from actual testing over the last 2.5 years to make sure it is on point. And after this process and they do schedule their interview, there's about a 3-step pre-interview email flow that they get that really improves the candidate experience, such as educating them on who they're going to be speaking with, such as, you know, things to look out for when you interview, talk, you know, enunciate, look good, have light, things like that that really improve the candidate experience. So from my side of it, things have been leveled up immensely. And where I really look at the data side of it is how fast candidates get back to us. There is no delay. You know, you may be out at lunch, someone may be driving, they can't look at their email, respond, we forget, we're all people, we have other stuff going on. But the information gets to them at such a faster clip that we've seen a lot more success moving candidates through that actual journey much, much quicker.
And there's no pushback on them knowing that AI is involved in the process? Like, I'm sure they know AI is being used, right?
So they do know that AI is being used, but we don't talk to them on the phone with AI, and I think that is the biggest differentiator. They don't really care about the AI communicating with them as much, to be quite honest with you. We've seen a lot of actual messages saying like, hey, I know this is AI, but this is fantastic, like no problems. So I actually think that the overall experience is a lot more cleaner from a candidate's perspective.
Let's be frank, 80% of the candidates probably using the AI to talk to their
Probably. We live in that world, right?
This is exactly 2 chatbots talking.
Totally. We live in that world, yes.
Do you put like the job description in there so it knows like appropriate things to say, like what are the hours, like all of that stuff?
Yep, so that is mistake number 2, not having a singular source of truth. In a couple slides, you'll see my entire recruitment tech stack, and the singular truth of truth exists in Azure. Different from probably an ES in your scenario, where that's where that exists. So the information gets pulled from that actual system, and the information is mirrored inside of our ATS.
So they need to be spot on when it goes in there, like the job descriptions, like schedule, all of that stuff.
Correct. And we have a difference between new and existing customers. Whether it's new information or old information, we want to make sure that information's stored so people aren't re-entering information and spending time doing that.
Which brings me to a question.
Yeah.
Who is your customer, the employer or the candidate?
The employer, correct, yeah.
So did you automate any ways you communicate back to them as well?
The employer, no. We have not automated any of that communication. I like to have a little bit more control over that personally. So I don't even know if that's something we are going to ever automate.
Well, you can't really articulate, 200 candidates for a particular position. I mean, I would assume you want to send them, hey, here's our top 10.
Totally.
And that could be done, just, check a box and tell me which ones you want to talk to.
It totally could. I particularly don't like to give 10. I think that's too many. But I think a top 3 would absolutely be adequate for that. And I think to get to your top 3, you have to have people talking to reduce that number. Because part of our value add to our clients is not just we can find you the right person. It's the fact that you don't have this time talking to a bunch of people and you can say focus on your job and we'll take care of the screening process for you. Cool? Yes.
You should not be the only one doing this. So just question on the last year.
Yeah.
Let's say, do you see, because you should be responding fast to your customers.
Yep.
With your top 10 or top 5 or top 3.
Mm-hmm.
So they should be okay, but there should be more people like you doing it. So do you see any changes on the last 6 months?
Within recruiting specifically? Yes. That's a great question. I think recruiters, and tell me if I'm wrong, right? Tell me if I'm wrong, but I think recruiters have a little slower adoption curve than most other folks. Whether we're good or we're not, who knows, right? There is no crystal ball to this. I can tell you from talking to a lot of staffing firm and recruiting owners, I think we are a little bit ahead of the curve. But that doesn't mean that a piece of technology that we just don't know is around the corner from getting released is going to get released. I think we all experienced that a couple years ago, ChatGPT, and the whole world changed overnight. So I don't know how big of a head start we have. I don't know if it even is a head start, which it may be, but it's always evolving, and that's the reason why we always try and stay at the forefront of it by introducing platforms like OpenClaw and things like that.
Well, you also have the agility that some of these other companies just don't have.
Great point. That's what I tell my team every single week is that we have the advantage of being flexible. MSA, I'm going to poke on it a little bit, right? Big company, big company, right? Kforce, Robert Half, Tech Systems. If they want to make a small change, that is a lot of red tape that we have to get through, and there's a lot of systems that have been put into place for 5, 10 years that have been working, and why mess with the good thing? But to your point, our advantage is that we can be nimble, and we can be agile, and we always plan to be. Yeah.
Are you using AI for your own business operations, for sales, marketing, any internal management?
Absolutely. We use it all over the place. Internal management, we have an AI that basically gives me a report of all of the positions we have open and what suggestions it has to improve the candidate results. So that's one. My second favorite one is using Clay again, which Clay actually enriches our ICPs, so our ideal customer personas, and provides information to us so that we can sound a lot more personalized, and the AI matches which offer we want to offer them for that exact signal. So for example, if you are hiring a full stack AI engineer or a mobile developer, that type of role that you are searching for is going to be really kind of far different from other positions that you need to find, right? And so that kind of differentiator is what I think what we look for.
And you're using it to actually outreach to potential customers?
Correct. Yeah, we believe in if we've identified a certain signal, so say you're hiring for someone, or you've just raised a round of funding, or you've gone through a merger and acquisition, those are all different buyer signals, but each of those buyer signals have different offers that we like to attach them to. For example, if someone's hiring for an AI engineer, our offer is that we'll send you a list of 100 candidates and the templates that we know get replies from candidates on LinkedIn, right? For if you're hiring a recruiter, our offer is that we will build you an entire outbound recruiting system do the sourcing, write the copy for you, and hand you over the keys so you can do it yourself. For a company who just raised a round of funding, we have a cost per hire calculator that shows them that we can lower their cost per hire in 90 days by 30% or less, or they pay nothing. So the way that we use AI is by understanding what buyer signals we have, what can we have to offer, and then what is the messaging being used, and then what is the funnel underneath it to actually close that customer. Does that answer? Cool, cool. Anybody else?
I had a couple.
Yeah.
If you're going to already get into it and go through the tech stack, I was just curious if you're using voice agents and then how you were starting to implement OpenClaw.
Yeah, yeah. So we do not use voice agents right now. Demoed a lot of products with voice agents. I think that is like the next evolution of recruiting. I think voice agents, when you try and have it own the entire relationship, is fundamentally where it starts to get a little gray for me. But if there are certain high-level questions, such as what is your salary that you're looking for a position, then I may be more convinced of the voice agents. But I really am a big component, like big supporter of recruiters having actual relationships with their candidates. And that may be different for your business, right? You know, I work with a...
Depends on the AI agent.
Yeah, totally. It totally does.
There's some good technologies out there that you really can't even tell. You're speaking to a human or an AI agent.
Well, I always like to say it, I may have already said this already, but it's the worst it's ever going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
It's only going to get better, right? So similarly to when we engage with the new customer, I tell them we're the worst we're ever going to be. Truth of the same is the technology is the worst it's ever going to be. It's only going to get better. Did that answer the voice agent question? Cool.
Maybe you were going to get into OpenClaw later, but I was just curious what you were using it for at this point.
Yeah, so OpenClaw right now is in POC. So actually defining how we can use OpenClaw. Within 30 days, I fully expect to have OpenClaw removing all of our human sourcing, like actually finding candidates on the LLMs and plugging in OpenClaw to actually do the finding for us. Again, the second step of that is by actually ranking the candidates in Clay. So we have a little bit more flexibility with what type of candidates we source because we know we're going to filter them in the next range, next round.
How do you get through the trust factor? So I'm a CIO of my company. I get LinkedIn emails and things like that.
Sure you do.
With job offers, I'm like, delete them all.
Totally.
Because I can't tell what's real.
I'm sorry, I missed the question.
So how do you validate? How do you instill a level of trust with a candidate?
Yeah.
You say that your customer is the company, but that's only 50% of your customer. If you don't have candidates, you can't service your customer.
Totally. And the reason, I'm glad you clarified, the reason why I say customer is the end client is because they're the one paying the bills.
They pay,
right? But to your point, the candidate's also your customer too.
Exactly.
Right? And I've found that having a systematic approach that answers their questions at a very quick rate compared to a human, that experience and that trust building that they have actually is improved. And again, we're not removing the person from the entire equation, right? I want to be we're not removing the person, right? This is simply getting the right information and saving them ultimately time, because if the role doesn't equal what they're looking for, why would I want to waste a bunch of time setting them up for not success? So I think the candidate experience, honestly, and the trust building between the candidate is much, much, much better, at least from what I've seen and the data has told us.
Okay. So, no, just to follow up on the
Yeah.
trust point. So that's actually a really interesting point. So when I'm working on I recruit in the C-suite. I'm
Totally.
CEOs,
Totally.
board of directors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So when they see a message from me, they go into my profile and they see the firm that I'm working on, my record. So the trust is automatically established. So who are these emails going to be coming from? Is it coming from like a machine or is it coming from a person? Because and And it's interesting to me that if you're the CIO, you're getting shady recruiters, because that usually happens at the lower level. Once you get into the C-suite, it's usually kind of very targeted, accurate stuff. You know, the scamming stuff happens when you're hiring kind of, you know.
Yeah, I got one just the other day. They're vetting me for something, and I of course, I do my due diligence, and the first thing I do is look him up on LinkedIn, and yeah, he's got a LinkedIn profile, but he's got a Gmail email address. I'm like, okay, red flag. And I'm like, well, what's your cell phone number? Because I'll do a forewarned on the guy, and then no response.
Totally.
So, but you got to be very careful who you give your information to.
100%.
I think that's one of the other problems in the recruitment industry that's going off topic. It's so easy to set up recruitment companies now. Everybody, like, when I got into the industry 20 years ago, it was big firms. I used to work for Corn Ferry, Boylan, the big firms, okay? Reputation, they have big offices in the fancy parts of town. Now, anyone can open it. And literally almost everybody that I know, their own firm. It costs $200 to set up a website, get an email account. So that's causing a proliferation of low-quality recruiters. Getting all this,
It's Florida, fried cover of the world.
Like this, I think, given the fact that the industry is becoming so chaotic, process excellence has disappeared. They're all used car salesmen. I even heard of a guy who's an ex-convict who set up a recruitment company, and he's successful.
He places ex-convicts.
No. He hires salespeople.
Well, that's kind of too bad because there's a need for people that are ex-convicts.
I'm happy for the guy. I'm happy for him.
No, I was just saying that, but I'm just saying it in general.
Tech people and salespeople, and the thing is, there's a bunch of gurus out there now teaching you how to set up it. It's have any recruitment experience, no experience, no college education.
They probably wrote the program on
chat.
and
there's a lot of people doing this stuff now, and I think that's just making
Also future ex-convicts.
Okay, so he's trying to get through his presentation.
I'm
ready for the next
She's like, what's after this? Yeah, no, as cool as, nobody mentioned my Harold and Kumar reference right there by the PFP. So shout out to my man Harold and Kumar. I know. That's my favorite part after all this.
I noticed the Firefly reference.
All right, I like that. We like that you caught my comedy there. All right, cool. So let's. What happened here? Technical support. I might need you. Cool. All right, back into it. Right. Solution 5. Whew, I got to get back into it. Solution 5. Right. Internal communications. This is as soon as a role opens up inside of our company. It used to take 30 to 45 minutes to set up things like adding it inside of our applicant tracking system, writing the actual messaging copy not in your head, you know this, right? Emails, LinkedIn messages, text messages. The candidate sourcing starts immediately now. So within our own recruitment stack, which we will get to in 2 slides, I promise, we have automated, not really used AI for this, right? But automation to achieve these 4 objectives in 20 seconds, which is excellent. No mistakes, no human time, no delays, no miscommunication, no code breaking using make N8N or whatever you're using. It works fully. This is how we started, using N8N, which is just like Zapier or make.com, whatever you want to use. We started duct taping everything together. Like I said, we had about 7 different systems, none of which were actually a true source of truth, but we really started out using N8N, Clay, and OpenAI. Today, things look a little bit different. And this was the question that a few of you have asked of what does our recruiting technology stack look like today? And as I mentioned, my lovely wife is a solution architect, which really helped us along with this. So we use Azure as our cloud, Cosmos database, Python automations, RAG pipelines, prompt libraries to create a real AI-first solution. A big mistake that I left off of here, which could have been mistake number 29, is that I didn't know what RAG engineering was, and I was super critical to actually figuring out a real solution for our technology. So this is how SuperRecruiter operates today, with a singular source of truth in Azure. Our recruiting machine looks exactly like this. So again, this is not patented, so take it if you want it. Is that just like any recruiting firm, the process starts with job opens up. Next thing that happens is we find candidates. So we use, in 30 days, OpenClaw to find candidates. We take those candidates from OpenClaw. We bring it into our stack ranking system to grade those candidates on a consistent basis. We take the top candidates of that grading system and enrich their data to find their contact information. Once we have their contact information, we take their contact information and we put it into our multi-channel outreach system using text, phone, email, and LinkedIn. As soon as we get a reply from a candidate, our chatbot snaps in and starts talking to the candidate in real time within 2 to 3 minutes, answering questions that they have, that each and every one of you would have if you're a candidate, and making sure that they are comfortable with the opportunity that we are presenting themselves. As soon as there is mutual interest on both sides, an automated candidate scheduler event is sent to the candidate so they can actually speak to a real human about the job opportunity. Before they speak to the human about the job opportunity, there is a 3-step pre-interview sequence to improve the candidate experience. Before they even speak to a human, this has all happened. And then after they speak to a human and they get the thumbs up, they have a 2-step post-interview sequence, again hammering in the candidate experience and next steps. This, my friends, what every staffing agency will look like in under 5 years. Without the human. Without the human. Yeah. So.
Humans aren't going away, y'all. It's going to be fine.
Oh, my gifts aren't rolling. There we go. Oh, there we had a little bit. Anyway, so what actually changed? Recruiting was not eliminated. It actually just allowed for more time to talk to candidates and our clients. But we no longer had to find candidates, write candidates, talk with candidates to get the preliminary information, and look through a stack of resumes that could take 3 to 5 hours every single day, which allowed, again, to talk to more candidates and advise clients. Here is a real statistic of how much money you can expect to save from a 100K recruiter on AI chatbots, outreach automation, candidate ranking, job intake automation. Out of a 100K salary, we can save 3/4 of their operational costs and put that into money-making activity. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is really where it all gets tied together, because how good is AI unless if we're making more money or saving money? Before AI, most of our day looked like this. Searching for candidates, writing outreach, screening resumes. That's a really good video. Screening calls, which are basically every single task a computer can do for you. And honestly, I'm sorry to say, probably do it better than you can too. What actually changed is that we spent more time with candidates, more time with clients, more time relationship building, which is at the core of every single recruiting business. And the biggest lesson that I learned from this entire process, and take it from me, who is not an engineer, I have no CS degree, I've never gone to school for technical learning, is that you just need to define a certain problem you are trying to solve. Once you define that problem, you need to prove your concept. Don't just start spending money like I did. Actually start to build a POC before spending the money on the solution that you think is amazing. And trust me, just like everyone in this room, I think I have $1 million ideas every single day, right? And then last but not least, add guardrails. Because if you're not adding guardrails, that's when things start to get a little tricky. What once required entire teams and massive budgets now with AI is now achievable with smaller teams and even smaller budgets. And as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a solopreneur, this is what really excites me. This is what we call leverage. And this is how folks like myself can really compete with the big boys and girls in the world. And we can compete with the MSHs of the world or the Robert Halfs of the world because we have leveraged technology in a greater capacity that they have, and we can cover more ground better, faster, more accurately than they ever will. I'm Alex Papageorge. Thank you so much for your time, each and every one of you, and I loved every single question. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Alex, thank you so much. Do we have any other questions? The crew. All right, we got one. I'm bringing the mic.
I apologize if you already answered this.
Don't apologize.
But I was wondering, how do you plan to measure candidate success and candidate quality?
Yeah, fantastic question. So we measure candidate success and quality based on how many candidates we submit to how many candidates we sourced, and then how many candidates we submitted to how many candidates were hired. Those are our two biggest points that we try and track. Does that answer?
Yeah, but so I guess that gives us like figures.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering, like, in terms of like quality of the candidates themselves,
Mm-hmm.
like how well they would potentially perform in the roles that they're being hired into. Like, is that something that you plan on measuring?
Ooh, like workforce management, like more like post-hire.
Post-hire quality, yes.
We don't touch that right now. That is a really good question. The closest plan we have is to connect our systems into an ATS and understand historical data of what types of profiles worked at companies better than other types of profiles. Mm-hmm. But right now, we don't have any visibility inside of historical information from that company.
Theoretically, if you already have the names of the candidates, then you can monitor the retention of the competent kind of basic
Correct.
Maybe?
Correct. When without having enough of a sample size and data set, I don't want to guess on that. We've had a couple conversations about that. One company comes into mind, but without getting access to their database information, it's going to be pretty hard to like kind of predict that type of level of futuristic hiring analytics.
Well, I'm sure you're going to hear about the bad hires right away. So.
Oh, all the time. Yeah, you hear about the bad hires faster than the good ones.
And companies tend to have like talent management, talent analytics and stuff internally, so they'll do that internally.
Yeah, exactly.
So we hand over the candidates and then they'll do all of that stuff with tools and stuff. And there's a lot of companies that do this stuff really well. So it happens, but it just doesn't happen by the recruiter. Recruiters usually just check in with your candidates 6 months at the latest just to make sure that they haven't got fired.
No, but I think this whole idea would be nice if they could do it. Then you could actually have, I don't know, call it like a 5-star internal. You know, like this is a good candidate, so they take priority over the bad ones or average ones. So it's a great idea.
If you have a problem with integrating to their system.
No, I'm not talking about integrating to their system. So the same way you're using Clay right now to look at where this guy is. Or girl, how many years they spend there? Did they get internal promotion? So you can use that data to say, like, after I place this person, they have this record, which give them 5 stars.
So I think in order to make that kind of analysis, you need to have access to a lot of confidential information. Like if you was a salesperson, you need to have a sales track record, what his goals were. If he
it's public information on LinkedIn, it's right there. I'm been with this company 9 years. I promoted several times, and I'm a CIO now, right?
Yeah, but you could lie and say, you could say I met my goal of $500 million when your goal was actually $1.5 million.
Right.
That's true. That's true.
At least you get a good liar, so that's already.
That's true.
So that kind of stuff happens. So companies internally do that.
That makes sense.
That's like a whole industry, and they really know what they do. They got psychologists.
I think Bridget has something to add here.
Oh, no. No. Well, first I want to say how much I enjoy the conversations that are happening. Like I've been to these events before, so I just appreciate like the conversations that are happening, and That's totally fine. So I wanted to know with your process, how long is the cycle between intake with the client to offer stage? Do you feel like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so we guarantee filling your role in less than 8 weeks. On average, we typically see 4 to 6 weeks to fill any particular role. We do hold the right to pass on any roles. Therefore, for your example of if it's an executive search, if it's a board of directors search, we probably can't do that in 8 weeks, to be quite honest with you. So we do set expectations from the very start, but our entire process of when sourcing begins to outreach starts to when interviews start to get put on side of our recruiters' calendars, that all happens within about 24 to 48 hours. We start to send candidates probably within about 72 to 4 days. 72 hours, 4 days. I don't know the math behind that, so yeah.
So that's, I guess, pretty typical. I mean, it's about like 45 days. About like 45 days? About
like 28 to like 45 days from point of opening the rec to them starting, which in some cases, some people have to put a notice if they're currently working, so they would need that 2-week buffer. But if someone's not, actively working and they're on the market, then that whole process gets a lot faster because they don't have to wait 2 weeks. But most of the folks we do find, and why I say that 4 to 6 weeks, is because they are normally working. At least from what our specific info is always shared with us, is that 2-week time is definitely needed to transition.
Okay.
Yeah. Please.
Have you ever heard of a company named McCor?
McCorn?
McCor, M-E-R-C-O-R, McCor.
I have not.
So the way they doing is like they having like the Uber matching company. So they're very big company right now. So they having the candidate go and put the profile. They have the AI interview person recording that, and then the employer come and put the job. So the AI start matching them together. And right now they focus a lot on the AI lab, which means that most of the candidates, they focus on how to improve the AI level in most of the AI lab company. So what I'm trying to say is that your model, how you scale it up, how your model scale it up on your company.
How do we scale it? Okay, I understand. So our model is a little bit different in the sense that we are not contingency staffing firms. So what we based our model on is subscription model. So we work with about 30 different companies. Right now we have a staff of 10. And so the way that we've scaled our company is by using mostly paid ads and cold outreach using the buyer signals and the offers that we've put together. We've hired 2 salespeople in the last month and a half. And our vision of scaling is to put certain salespeople inside of different verticals for them to conquer and build out a sales SDR program behind them so that they can speed up their time from actual initial interest into closing the prospect. But those would be our 2 main customer acquisitions, is paid ads and cold email right now.
So when you have an open rec, you're doing an LLM search. I think a lot of us are using LLMs to search the web for things. Is there anything that you've learned? Are you building prompt libraries for those searches? Do you have API hooked into Zoom Info and different kind of systems of record? And anything that you can share there?
I use Clay religiously all day, every day. I know I've said this a few times. Really, if you haven't checked it, it's a unicorn type of platform. So that's really, because Clay allows you to pull in from different sources versus using like Zoom Info, for example. You can pull from 6, 7, 8, 12 different sources to not just get information, but also like validate that information is in fact like real, higher use types of data, right? I forgot your first question, I'm sorry.
Just when you mentioned that you plan to use OpenClaw right now.
Correct.
It's just LLM searches.
Correct.
And that's just humans at the terminal.
Correct.
Putting in those queries. What about those queries makes them special? Is it literally just find me XYZ, or do you have templates?
We have templates, absolutely have a ton of templates that we've tested. Not only templates, but I've found with using AI, pressure testing super important. And when I say pressure testing, I mean, find me a list of these candidates, you give me that list, me asking you, are these really the best candidates that you can find, right? Repetition from there, right? And that's pressure testing. Now, there are certain ways, especially using OpenClaw, that you can systemize that, right? So that you don't have to be the one sitting there typing it. It's actually just going to do it autonomously. And so that's kind of the next evolution of where we're going to get to. Instead of a person doing it, computer doing it.
Do you ever hit walls with the LLM failing to scrape certain websites? Is it accurate in its searches across the web and LinkedIn and Job?
I found it to be incredibly accurate, but I come back to defining what exactly you're looking for, and the more you can be defined, the more accurate it's going to be, right? I can ask an AI to go on the internet and tell me 10 things about SilverLogic, right? Or I can ask it to tell me 10 customers that they've helped in the last 5 years and what do they create. And that's like a whole nother search, right? And that whole output is going to be widely different from the first one. So the more structure and guardrails you put around your prompt and the more that structure is reused and you've seen what works, the more I would say just keep iterating that until it's actually producing consistent outputs.
Do you mostly work with or partner with agencies using this technology, or like do you also do like in-house talent acquisition teams? Because I feel like that if you have this technology, like what's stopping them from using it? They don't need an agency, then you're going out of work.
Yeah, no, I love that question because I think that comes back to the recruiter adoption question, and we actually offer it. So if we speak to an agency owner or whatever that may be, we're not trying to hide this in particular. We will actually, if you pay us enough money, we will actually implement it for you. So we tell our clientele that the simple difference between us doing it or you doing it is that you're doing it or we're doing it, right? You're the one who has to learn everything. You're the one who has to pay for everything. You're the one who has to run it on a day-to-day basis. If you don't want to worry about that, let us handle that. And our typical pricing is about 1/3 the cost of any staffing firm out there. So the cost of actually allowing us to fill a role for you in reality and the cost per hire calculator is actually lower than it's costing you to fill on your own. And as soon as that connection's made, which typically lands in the business or finances hands, it's a little bit of a no-brainer for them.
Looks like, go ahead.
So does that mean like it would like potentially like eliminate the agencies?
It totally could if they wanted to do it themselves.
Yeah.
If they don't want to do it themselves, then it won't eliminate the agencies.
Yeah, because a lot of the times they pay, like their in-house talent acquisition teams, but they'll have like 400 requisitions or something like that, something impossible to fill.
Yeah.
But like if they're having all of that working in the background, like, having that pipeline development, which is a large portion of your day, like they can fill a lot more roles, and like, why are they paying an agency buku bucks when they could be doing it themselves?
They could be doing it themselves. I just come back to they have to learn it.
Yeah.
They have to pay.
Yeah.
They have to pay for it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things in here that customers don't pay for, right? If you're not asking us to do it, you have to go get the enrichment credits. You have to go find their personal contact information. You have to set up your domain accounts. You have to create your sub accounts. You have to connect your SPIF to make sure that it is connected. You're not going to blacklist or spam filters. You have to run that on a day-to-day basis. You have to rotate your mailboxes every 30 days to make sure that I could go on and on and on, right?
Are you sure you're not technical?
Well, that's just email. That's not talking about cold calling.
A little bit.
That's pretty much he just gave you the speech he gave him last night.
You think I did this? Yeah, she couldn't be here today, but no.
She trained you well.
Yeah, that she did. That she did. There's no doubt. I'm sorry. Did that answer? I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Probably is just like an extra step for them. Like huge organizations are not really integrating like that, or are they? Like, do you work with a large Like,
we work with a large insurance provider, and we work with every single one. They have about 30 recruiters on their team, and the way that we work with them is that we just sit on top of talent acquisition funnel, right? So they run their job postings because 99.9% of internal recruiters don't do any outbound recruitment. It's mostly just job postings and looking at stuff. So where we sit is on top of that candidate funnel, and when we start to outreach to candidates, the person who talks to them on the phone is actually their recruiter, not our recruiter, and they take them down the candidate journey. So I just come back to, do you want to do it do you want to do it on your own, right? And if the answer is yes, then happy to help you along that journey as well, right? Not stopping us. To be quite frank, I'm someone in the boat thinking that in 5 years, everyone's going to have that tech stack that I just showed you, right? I don't think that that is going to be like super novel. And maybe sitting here just a couple years into my journey, but I don't think what we've created is super novel, to be honest with you. I think that it just comes back to trying to figure out what your pain points are, defining your problem. You saw my duct tape, proof of concept, proved it out for a year and a half, and then we moved into more of a modernization tech stack in the Microsoft world. So it is something that certainly companies can do. I think that there's a lot of value for companies who have done a good job over the years by storing candidate data inside of their CRM and ATS, because to me, that's their hidden swimming pool. That's the hidden pond that is their advantage in the talent wars. But all they need to do is strap on an agent that finds those profiles inside of their database and then connects them with any open job, and it essentially achieves a lot of the same thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Just out of curiosity, where were you running it before going to Azure, like Railway?
Oh man, you don't even want to ask me that question. It was just, it was just, it was a mess. We did self-hosted N8N, which was a disaster. Oh, it was a mess, man. Yeah.
So without asking too many questions, so it sounds like you're bringing retained search capabilities to places where it would have been done on a contingent basis. Is that what you're doing?
Bingo.
Okay. Yeah. So that's gonna have an impact, because most, like you said, 90% of recruiters are just kind of responding to people who have applied for jobs, but headhunters are going out there looking for the passive talent. So if you could bring that capability to that, so that's what you're doing. So that's going to be hugely helpful. And I just realized that's what you were doing, because you didn't really mention that, because it's assumed that every recruiter is going through that process of identifying candidates who are passive, but most are not. So you're bringing that to a place where that doesn't happen. Okay.
Correct.
That's cool.
Appreciate you. And I didn't want to make this presentation about Super Recruiter. I know that this is the topic, right? Because this is the world I exist in every single day. But I hope that some of us got some kind of learning from the mistakes that I've made, and ways that we can improve our businesses, no matter if it's a barbershop, if it's a restaurant, if it's an accounting firm, if it's a software development firm. That's what I was really hoping to share with you today, is not what does Super Recruiter do? That's cool in my world, but how can I help the community really kind of push their lives forward? So I hope you were able to pull a couple of pieces from me and learn a couple things. If not, don't tell me. And I'm on LinkedIn. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm not the only Papageorge on LinkedIn. I would have thought that, but there are a couple more of us floating around out there. But yeah, any other questions before? And I'll be around here for the next 30 minutes or so free to grab me.
When's the pizza place opening?
My favorite question. It only took an hour for someone. I hear that one and National Lampoon's Family Vacation, Papageorgio. Yes, sir.
I wanted to add, because you did mention that you didn't want to make it a Super Recruiter, but we stayed half an hour in just one slide, and we didn't talk about your company. So thank you. We really talked about everything, and it was great. And the final one, being a designer, what you designed there, it really opens my mind of what can be done in AI. I would just think, I'm getting into it right now, And being a designer, what you have done in a year, it's kind of cool that now you can automate all your different versioning with that structure. It really opened my mind. So thank you.
I appreciate your kind words. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, warm round of applause for Alex. That's right.
Do I walk off the stage?
Yeah, you can do whatever. But Alex, I have to remind you of one thing.
The NDA?
No, you said that you were going to take a selfie with something for Rob, and so I have to. If you want to do that.
We don't have to. We
Okay.
don't have to.
All
We
right.
don't
Fair
have
enough.
to. That's for a different day.
Then, guys, I want to thank each and every one of you guys. The speech is over, but the party is not. While you guys were all sitting here listening enthralled to Alex, we restocked some beverages and some snacks. So please feel free to hang out, talk for a couple more minutes. And then I will, while I still have you captive for a couple minutes, I will shamelessly plug our organization. We are the SilverLogic and Bridget. We have two entities. The SilverLogic, we build custom technology solutions. You can look around the room and see a couple of the platforms, just a few of them that we're really proud to have been a part of. And then for those of you who have it on your checklist to go out and find a spouse who is a solutions analyst somewhere to enable your AI, you don't just have to do that, because Bridget AI is an entity that we formed this past year to specifically help organizations who are on that AI journey. We do everything from helping them stand up their proof of concepts to AI educational to professional services to fractional AI engineering services.
Yeah,
so
well, I went there, but she told me I'm not allowed to go there.
not, I promise, there's no marriages going on at Bridget. Don't ask those questions. So I want to say, we got Bridget. There you go. You're the namesake for the company. So I want to thank each and every one of you guys for coming out. Remember, we do this every single month, so I hope to see you next month, the third Wednesday of April. Everybody have a safe travels. Thank you so much. And Alex, thank you so much. Everybody have a great night.